Hello, everyone. Here are 7 actionables that have the power to transform your 2026. And I'm also going to talk about common mistakes that I have seen people make, no matter what age group you are, or no matter what is the amount of money that they make, or how many big network circles they have. I still see people making mistake in these areas, due to which they remain quite stuck in their life. So if you commit today that you are going to work on these areas, and always remember that whenever you're trying to make changes in your life, you start with the thing that will make the most amount of difference, and then also pay attention to all other areas of life. For example, if you are somebody in your late 20s or your early 30s, definitely your finances, your career, and at some extent your relationships, or if you are married, then if you're planning to have families or move cities and all of that, these all things also start to become the very important aspects that need your focus, attention, and conscious planning. I've seen people lacking this conscious planning or conscious reflection, if not exact planning, due to which now they don't understand how do you really navigate this life. And most of my audience on this channel is in this age bracket of, in their late 20s to their 30s, early and late as well. So I will be focusing a lot on how do you first sort the financial aspect of your life, because I have seen, due to various reasons, people not focusing on this aspect. So they focus on the aspect of, thinking about it, but when it comes to actions, what are the common mistakes that people make, and what are the actionables that you need to do, is very very important. I was reading some statistics about, India, the Indian people, how much debts people have in today's world, how much credit card bills are pending, people are they saving money. And if you see, there is a significant reduction in the amount of money that is being saved in India than the past generations. And if you look at the numbers, it will be really really shocking. And the amount of credit card bills that people have, that is increasing. Definitely whatever I say is not an investment advice. I am not a finance professional at all. So if you want, you can talk to somebody who is an expert in personal finance, or watch videos related to that on YouTube to learn about personal finance, because it is a non negotiable skill to have in your life, which is to manage your finances. The funniest statement that I have heard in this domain is that I want to make so much money that I don't have to think before I spend. Now, this is very, very unrealistic. Let me tell you why. If I give you a Ferrari and you don't know how to drive, you are going to crash that car in the first few days. I mean, even in first few hours. So if you want to, have this urge to drive a luxurious car, please learn basic driving. Similar is with finance. If you have big wealth creation goals, start with learning personal finance. Things as simple as, budgeting, knowing what are your essentials, your monthly expenses that you make, knowing how much money you spend in something that's fun, more, you do it for your personal joy, or for your family's joy. So I'm not saying that you should be only spending or you should be only saving. That's a very, very personal question. But there should be a conscious plan when it comes to your money, because when you lack this particular thing, you feel very much out of control in your own life. You don't know what you're doing for the future, you don't know what is the amount of money you're investing for the future, due to which the very foundation of your life is always quite unstable. And if you feel like, yeah, where will this kind of certainty and stability come from, then the first thing to actually correct in your life are your finances. This is the first mistake that people make. So learn that. Second mistake that people make is that they are thinking about, okay, wealth creation means the stock market. Wealth creation means you're going to invest in different, products that we have, like the SIPs and stuff like that. Now, all of these things have their own benefits in every area. But if you want to do that, if you want to make money from it, you need money for investing in that. And people don't, spend time in actually learning how can I make more money, but they spend more time in thinking about how can I multiply this, which stock should I find out which will give me the maximum amount of returns. Now, if you utilize the same hours in your skill development, okay, and let's say if you see the averages in the stock market, people get like, some multiple of the income. that growth rate can increase in your profession, whether you have a career or you have a business, by very large if you're spending that time first to make more money. And then if you have spare time, go looking for, the next multi-bagger. And I have seen people doing this, and people who are quite, aged in age, they are very very high. But when it comes to the maturity related to finances, I still felt like there's a lot of work to do. So what are you going to do instead of all these things? First thing, something very simple as budgeting. Writing down whatever expenses you have made and bifurcating it into what were my essential expenses, what is the amount of money that I've spent for my fun, and if you have made any kind of savings or if you have made any kind of investments, what were those investments? This kind of tally is very, very essential when you are closing a year. Now, if you are self employed, you understand the importance of this because, hey, you don't have a PF, or if you don't have any kind of fund that you are saving for retirement, an employer does that for you, right? But when you are self employed, or if you are a business owner, you have to take care of it by yourself, and so many business owners have no safety net like that. And when I listen to them, and they don't know where their sense of uncertainty is coming from, where their sense of emotional volatility is coming from, it is very simple that they do not have a basic safety net. So whether you are a business owner, or whether you are a person who is working in a corporate, or even if you have a government job, guys, you think that government jobs are very safe, you'll never be, out of it. Yes, maybe the emergency fund that you need and the safety net that you need to create would be much lesser, राइट? कि अगर आप कहीं से गिरने वाले हो तो नीचे गद्दा होना चाहिए। तो गवर्नमेंट जॉब के केस में शायद आपको बहुत छोटा गद्दा लगे, एंड फॉर इफ यू आर सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड और बिजनेस ओनर, आपको बड़ा गद्दा लगे, मतलब कि आपके पास शायद 12 मंथ्स का इमरजेंसी फंड होना चाहिए। तो स्टार्ट setting it as a goal. So you are entering into 2026 right now. First, set your finance goals. You can look for a ratio. Go and learn personal finance on YouTube and look for a ratio. How much amount of money I want to spend on essentials? 50% हो सकता है, 60% हो सकता है. How much money I want to use for my fun? 20% हो सकता है, 25 हो सकता है, 15 हो सकता है. फन में आपका सब कुछ आ जाता है, आपका जोमेटो, रेस्टोरेंट्स, ईटिंग आउट, कपड़े, वट एवर इट इज़, ओके? And then the remaining amount, and you need to actually set it as a goal, that 10% of my income, 15% of my income, because this ratio can look different for everyone, you need to invest in your future, or you need to save it. Okay? And if you have any kind of debt, or you had any kind of debt, you will have to make sure that I set certain finance goals, I talk to a professional, set certain finance goals which are going to help me recover this debt. And if you don't know how you're going to actually recover that debt, where is the money going to come from, we are moving to the next aspect, which is setting your career goals. Let me wrap up the first point before we actually go to that when you are entering 2026, you need to have goals like, how much emergency fund do I want to create in the next year? Because if you want to plan any kind of career move, even something as basic as, people ask me, how do I quit my full-time job and become a life coach? You need emergency funds. You need some amount of money that's spare, which you can survive for the next 6 to 12 months. So write that down, that you want to create that amount of emergency fund. Write the ratios down, that this is what I want to spend on my essential, my fun money, and this. And then you can reevaluate at the end of 2026, or even in the mid of 2026, कि ये रेशियो को कैसे चेंज करना है. मैं कितना स्टिक रह पाई इन दिस रेशियो, या मैं कितना स्टिक नहीं रह पाई इन दिस रेशियो. एंड दैट्स गोइंग टू एक्चुअली गिव यू अ लॉट ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस. एंड थर्ड, कि आपके अगर कोई आपके ऊपर कोई टाइप का डेट है या ईएमआई है, और आप कभी उन चीज़ों की तरफ देखते ही नहीं हो, जैसे कि वो एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती है, स्टार्ट मेकिंग अ कॉन्शियस डिसीजन कि मुझे इसको एक्चुअली में जल्दी से जल्दी ख़त्म करना है. या उसके जो भी लॉजिक्स होते हैं, क्योंकि देयर सम डेट्स जो ऐसे होते हैं कि अगर आप उसको चलने दो तो इट इज़ मोर प्रॉफिटेबल फॉर यू. देयर सम डेट्स जिसको अगर आप जल्दी ख़त्म करो, क्योंकि उनके ऊपर इंटरेस्ट रेट इतना हाई होता है, देन इट वुड बी बेटर फॉर यू. तो आप किसी प्रोफेशनल से कंसल्ट कीजिए, किससे सीखिए जिन्हें ये सब चीज़ें आती है, और उसको भी एक पॉइंट बनाइए टू एक्चुअली फोकस ऑन दैट थिंग. ओके, सो फाइनेंस वॉज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स, एंड दैट इज़ वाई वी हैव स्पेंट 10 minutes talking about it. The next is your career. तो अगर आपके पास पैसे होंगे ही नहीं, इफ यू नो डोंट हैव द मनी, देन वेयर आर यू गोइंग टू स्पेंड, वेयर आर you going to invest, right? So your focus needs to be, I want to increase the amount of money I make. Okay, whether it is by promotions if you're working under someone, by switching your job, or it can be by, if you're a business owner, then increasing your sales, increasing your profits, increasing your profit margin. Whatever it is, put it down into numbers as to, I want to do this. Now the biggest problem with people is, as we start this discussion, वो पहले ही बोलने लगते हैं कि oh my god, how am I going to do this in our company, you know, these are the only promotion cycles, इसके आगे तो promotion मिलता ही नहीं है, ये तो possible है ही नहीं. If you say all of that to your brain right now, your brain is not going to show you any opportunity to actually do that. But today if you write down your goal that I want to increase my income by 30%, 50%, क्योंकि 10% तो corporate में increase होता ही है, okay? If you're in business, you may want to 3x it, it's fine. If when you write it down, your brain actually shows you the opportunity कि ये कहाँ हो सकता है. Second very important thing, if you are in your career, then be on the front foot and ask for promotions. The thing is that people don't have relationship with the key stakeholder जो actually उनके promotions करवाते हैं. And in this corporate setup, it happens more because there's one manager that you're reporting to who's your, like, your technical manager. There is another manager responsible for your promotions, or the boss's inputs are important for your promotions. You need to know your key stakeholders. So today, sit down with a pen and paper, write down all the key stakeholders who could be involved in your promotions, and then you may want to build a relationship with them where you're contributing to the most important things for your projects. Okay, so I'm not asking you to just butter people around, आप लोगों की चापलूसी करो, I'm completely against that. But you need to contribute to what is that particular organization's goal, or you need to contribute to that particular project, okay, if you are employed. Now there is another way, in recruitments this happens, or even later on, that people get ESOPs. ओके, तो आपको अगर स्पेशली अगर आप स्टार्टअप्स में काम करते हो, या लेटर ऑन बड़े कंपनीज में भी जब आप पार्टनर्स बन जाते हो, सो यू गेट सम शेयर्स ऑफ दैट कंपनी. इफ़ यू आर गेटिंग इट, इट्स रियली गुड. व्हाट पीपल डू इन नेगोशिएशंस कि वो बोलते हैं कि ये मत दो, मुझे सैलरी दे दो एक्स्ट्रा, और उनको लगता है इसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. अगर कल को आपको आपका जॉब क्विट करना है एंड दिस कंपनी डज वेल, देन दिस कुड एक्चुअली बी योर बेनिफिट. तो आप देखो पहले कि कैसा है. अगर ऐसा स्टार्टअप है जिसके ऊपर आपको ही भरोसा नहीं है, देन देयर इज नो पॉइंट टेकिंग दीज ऑप्स. बट अगर आपको भी कन्विक्शन है, एंड तभी लोग स्टार्टअप में जनरली काम करते हैं क्योंकि उनको फाउंडर पे या फाउंडर की आइडिया पे बहुत कन्विक्शन होता है. That is the time when you say yes to ESOPs, and ESOPs are a great thing to have, in your salary structure. So if you're getting that, that's well and good. Now the second actionable that you need to do for increasing that, अपने key stakeholders पता कर लिए, सब कुछ पता कर लिया, that you want to upskill yourself. You want to also see कि मुझे upskilling की ज़रूरत exactly है कहाँ पर. Am I needed, is my upskilling needed more in the technical aspect of things, or is my upskilling needed more in the soft skills aspect of things? Okay, for example, the way you talk, your communication, the way you present yourself, the way you interact with other people. Now, I had somebody, when I was talking to this person, I was coaching a senior leader. The person said to me that I need to improve my technical skills, okay? And her focus was, yeah, technical skills, technical skills, technical skills. And the exact gap that I saw, which was needed to be fulfilled if the person wanted to go up the corporate ladder, was the ability to build relationships and network with senior bosses. Okay, the amount of confidence and security that's needed when you're talking with the people of senior management. So the technical skills were good enough, and this layer of additional skills was required. So, first find that out. Do you need to enhance more on your technical skills, take on certifications? Is there any professional kind of certification that can help you in your career growth? Like people do it in the corporates, things that I know are like, project management credentials, where you're becoming scrum masters, or there are so many courses and certifications around AI right now, which cannot be neglected. Or people go for CFA, CFP if you are more in the personal finance space. तो आपका जो भी डोमेन है, go and find out what's going to make you much more professional in your own field, and then investing into that. and saying that I want to do this particular certification, this year. Planning that out is also very, very important. And if the soft skills aspect is the part where you think you are lacking, guys, in today's day and age, it's very easy to enhance that, okay? So you go to the description box, book a call with me, and we can do it for you. And if you resonate with any other mentor, go work with that mentor, because that is a non negotiable. After a while, that is something that sets you apart more than anything else. So your core skill, whatever makes you good at the job, with that, these enhanced personality development skills, they give you a lot of confidence to keep moving forward in that particular direction. So we've talked about the major things that people are usually concerned about. Now we come to relationships. In relationships, we feel that, oh, relationships are, at the back seat. हम लोग तो ज़्यादा टाइम अपने ऑफिस में ही स्पेंड करते हैं. But you'll be surprised to know the way we show up in our personal relationships is very well connected to the way we show up in our office relationships. Let's say कि आपका attachment style is of avoidance, कि आप hard conversations avoid करते हो, लोगों से बात करना avoid करते हो, अपने अपने में ज़्यादा रहते हो, तो आप अपने काम में भी यही करते हो. Okay, you avoid hard conversations, you avoid connecting deeply with people, and you avoid making any kind of transaction where you feel like I have to open myself up too much. And that actually stops a lot of your growth. If you have problem asking help in your personal relationships, you have problem delegating in your professional life. So whatever these things are, find those things out. And again, if you're not able to do it by yourself, don't waste time. Go to the description box, book a call with me, and we can get the journey started for you. So I've seen this, that whenever people start working in their personal relationships, there is a change in their professional relationships. Whenever people start working the professional relationships, there's a change in their personal relationships. Similarly, if you're an anxiously attached person, you always want to please people. आप हमेशा देखते हो कि मैं कैसे फिट इन करूँ, सबको मक्खन लगाना है, घर में भी वही कर रहे हो, काम पे भी जाके वही कर रहे हो, एंड देन यू आर वेरी रिजेंटफुल कि मैं सबके लिए इतना कुछ करता हूँ, करती हूँ, और मुझे हर जगह ऐसे ही ट्रीट होना पड़ता है. सो whatever you're doing in one kind of relationship is showing up in the other. So you're going to do two things. Okay. First, you are going to cut off people who create a lot of toxicity in your life. अगर completely cut off नहीं कर सकते, completely उस drama से दूर नहीं हो सकते, at least be ready to walk away. Always remember, the strongest person in the room is the one who's ready to walk away from that room. No matter what, no matter what the relationship is, क्या है, but अगर वो mentally torturing है, ओके, एंड यू हैव डन ऑल योर इनर वर्क, आपने खुद पे बहुत काम किया, आप खुद थेरेपी जाते हो, आप खुद कोचेस के साथ काम कर रहे हो, एक्सपर्ट से बातें कर रहे हो, बट स्टिल पीपल अराउंड यू आर नॉट टेकिंग देयर पार्ट ऑफ द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, you know that now it is the time to actually draw that line. Okay. The second thing that you are going to do, first you cut out that drama, second thing that you are going to do is whatever hard conversations you are trying to avoid with people so far, you're going to slowly expose yourself to these conversation. Okay, एकदम से जाके बात नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो धीरे धीरे start to talk about things that bother you if you're not used to it, but start talking about it. And you will see an immense change. आपके अंदर जो एक emotional freedom और psychological freedom होती है, which is the core outcome that I want to create when I am sharing all of these tips with you for 2026, then this also becomes a very, very important factor. Now we're done with relationships. Now comes to the recreation aspect. Okay, pursue a hobby that you have always wanted to pursue और आप postpone करे जा रहे हो, चाहे वो डांस सीखना हो, आपको वर्कआउट करना था, आपको मार्शल आर्ट सीखना था, जो भी पॉटरी क्लासेस करनी थी, go ahead and do it. The second thing you'll do in this particular space is that you are going to create a list of either the books that you always wanted to read or the movies that you always wanted to watch. And guys, these are not just time pass, ठीक है? अगर आप binge watch नहीं कर रहे हो ना, तो movies, books, stories, they actually engage your imagination. They engage the right side and the left side of the brain together. कभी कभी right side ज़्यादा engage होती है, especially अगर आप हमेशा लॉजिकल काम में ज़्यादा रहते हो, आपके काम में एनालिसिस का बहुत ज़्यादा रोल है और इमोशंस का रोल बहुत कम है, तो आपने जानबूझकर अपने रिलेशनशिप्स के लिए अपने फन और रिक्रिएशन के लिए ज़्यादा टाइम निकालना चाहिए. अदरवाइज you will not understand why am I becoming a person who overthinks so much, who wants to control everything else, because only the left hemisphere of the brain or just the analytical aspects are getting all the exposure. Emotional joy ये सबको time नहीं मिल रहा है, so it creates a imbalance in your system. Okay, so you're going to do this for the fun and recreation part. Now, there is something really powerful that you want to learn, and that is how do you look good. Now, the book should not be judged by its cover, but the truth is, a book is judged by its cover. And more than how other people are going to judge you, I feel that dressing up or looking good is done more for your personal things. For example, from the moment that I have started to, apply the bold red lipsticks or the dark lipsticks that I always loved, I really feel so good about myself. I generally feel secure about myself, but I feel more beautiful when I have certain kind of hair, when I have certain kind of clothes on. And then, spending some time or actually learning about these things, that what colors suit you, what kind of hairstyles suit you, what kind of clothes suit you. And what happens especially with women is that our bodies are changing so rapidly. I mean, I don't look the way I used to look when I was 2 years of younger. I don't look the same way anyway, but what happened is that I kept my dressing style almost the same, and now I learned that I need to change it. Okay, I need to get in something that looks much better on me, it is more comfortable for me. So learning that also increases your self confidence a lot. So it is again an additional layer of things that you would really really want to do. So if you are starting 2026 by promising yourself that you're going to work on all these things, and you are setting up resolutions in this way, what is going to happen with your brain at a neurological level is that your RAS is going to be activated. What is the RAS? RAS is the reticular activating system, which is like a filter, in your brain. For example, I give this example a lot that first I had not seen many Honda Amaze cars on the road. But till the time we had started a discussion in our family that we want to buy a Honda Amaze cars, I started to see so many of them, right? So they were always there, but only when I had a filter. Okay, only when something became my conscious priority I started to see it. So you are going to set these things as your conscious priority. Take a pen and paper in your hand, watch the video, go back and note down the things, and where you feel like you would be needing more information to discover this properly, like we talked a lot about that in the finance part. So you're going to also watch that particular content from that particular expert and implement it, and you will see that 2026 would be transformational. All the very best.